Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Ignites Knowledge series entitled What Is? My name is Neil, and together with Ilva, Gustavo, and Xuan Ming, my co founders of Ignites, we hope that everyone who is tuning in today is ready to enrich their brain and learn. If you have not joined us before, allow me to give you a brief introduction about Ignites and let you know why have we launched this online series. Ignites is an international network of event professionals who want to make a difference in the events world. We provide specialized consultancy services in combination with active and integrated support of project delivery. We are also strong advocates of education, and it is one of Ignite's main pillars. Within the scope of education is knowledge sharing, and we believe that knowledge sharing is vital to the continued innovation and improvement of policies and processes in the sports industry and actually in all other industries for that matter. With that in mind, Ignite's launching this What Is series, which serves as a cornerstone of what we hope to be a rich source of information for future and established event professionals alike. The founders of Ignites who have been working in this industry for the past decade realized that it is not very easy to obtain information and knowledge of the industry, especially in specific topics around the planning and organization of a sport event, without getting practical experience working in an organizing committee or attending a sport management course. So, the aim of this series is to provide you some of that specific knowledge and information. And today we will be diving into the area of venue broadcasting operations. I'm delighted today to be hosting a fellow Malaysian who has been involved in broadcasting and media operations for the past 20 years. Geetha has worked in a variety of major multi-sport events and single sport events all around the world. But as a Malaysian, she still loves her Malaysian food and therefore she always comes back to Malaysia. So let's not wait any longer and bring Geetha in. Hi, Geetha.
Hi, Neil. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'll get right to it.
Wait, Geetha, relax.
Okay.
Let's get you a little bit relaxed a little bit. So what did you have today? Okay, so for the audience out there, both Geetha and I, we are as I said, we are fellow Malaysians and we like to eat. and food is the essence of Malaysia, right? So let's ask, like, Geetha, what do you have for dinner?
Today I didn't have anything Malaysian. I just had scrambled eggs on toast, so not very Malaysian, yeah.
Oh no, I think it's because of the butterflies in the stomach, right?
Probably, yeah, probably.
Okay, all right, Geetha. So I'm gonna give you the floor, and you go right at it.
All right, thank you again. Once again, thank you and good evening from Kuala Lumpur. What is venue broadcast operations? Now, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes before we send the beautiful pictures on your TV. So today we just look at some very simple or basic information because I don't think I have the time to give you everything and all the details. So we'll look at some simple questions and then the stakeholders, the people who are involved, a timeline, again, a very simple timeline, and then the building blocks or the key factors, and an overview. So this is a venue production control room inside the aquatics venue in Jakarta during the 2018 Asian Games. When we go live from the venue, we set up a venue production control room, or sometimes the broadcasters will work from an outside broadcasting van or an OB truck. I'll show you pictures later. Why do we need venue broadcast ops in the venue? Because not everybody can buy a ticket, can afford to get to the venue, or even just, tickets could be sold out. So what's the solution? Then we provide live or delayed broadcast for viewers everywhere. How do we do that? We set up a venue with the facilities and people needed to produce the television coverage. So I keep saying we, and who are we? The host broadcasters. Every local organizing committee will have a media or broadcast department, but they will also engage the services of a broadcast company to work with them to put things in place so that they can then have TV coverage of all their sports. As you can see, the picture shows the on-court cameras. This is badminton at the Rio 2016 Olympics. And another production control room. I think this was basketball at the Asian Games in Jakarta. Stakeholders, or the people that are essential to making things work. The host broadcaster works very closely with the organizing committee. And our main contacts are the venue and sports managers. Through them, we get in touch with the heads of the various functional areas or departments. For example, people who manage accreditation, access control, security, and the people who manage the timing, scoring, and results, because we need to integrate our TV graphics with the result systems. We have the government authorities, the city councils, the government that runs the city. We need their permission to use their public roads and facilities for our road races, like the marathon, road cycling. Without their permission, we cannot block off roads, we cannot run on those roads or cycle on those roads. We also need the help of the telecoms, and that's because they provide us the connectivity through their fiber network, or we have use of their satellite facilities to get the film or the sports from the court, from the venue, out onto your television sets. Governing bodies, we work with the international federations. Each sport will have a technical delegate or a referee who will help us understand the rules and regulations and the requirements, maybe some specific requirements for how the athletes are allowed to move around or the time between each match. And that needs to be adjusted for broadcast time. And then we come to the rights holding broadcasters. This is a group of people, they are actually broadcast companies from the participating countries. They come to the host with specific requests to put their equipment, their cameras, or they require space to do their work. This can be anything from a camera platform, or as you can see in the picture, an announce position where the lady will stand and make an announcement, and in the background you see the whole court or the whole venue. These specific requirements are taken and planned together with the organizing committee, and once confirmed, we put them in place. So the timeline. Now, ideally, it'll be good to have more than a year, but in Jakarta, we had 8 months before day one of broadcast. The full team, full-time host broadcast team was on site in the city. And we worked with the local organizer to confirm the venue requirements. Based on those requirements, we drew up camera plans and layout plans. Now, what are these two plans? This is what they are. The camera plans are done by the host broadcaster. This is badminton. We went live from 2 courts, so we had 2 sets of cameras. And as to where we place the cameras and how they're done, this again needs to be worked out with the referees or the technical delegates or the international federations, because we can't be too close to the court. We also sometimes allow space for photographers to get in the same space and take the shots that they need. So they can't block us, we can't block them. Layout plans. Layout plans allow us to get space or confirm the space that we need within the venue. This was at volleyball. There's an outside space that we use that we call the broadcast compound. And in Jakarta, the broadcast compound was used mainly to keep the backup generators or storage or rest area, because we did all our production from the rooms inside the venue. So we were given rooms that we used as TV production offices. So usually in a broadcast compound, you will see these two vehicles, the outside broadcasting truck or sometimes a satellite truck. But in Jakarta, we were able to use space inside the venues, and we set up a full production unit inside. Okay, so now moving on. Venue requirements. So I spoke earlier about talking to the local organizing committee and confirming the space or the venue requirements that we need inside each venue to do the broadcast. In athletics, you can see the picture showing you the head-on cameras. This platform was built for the host broadcaster, but it was also extended to accommodate the needs of some of the rights-holding broadcasters who had specific requirements for that space. In aquatics, the RHBs had, well, I think it was China and Japan, they requested 2 studios to be built facing the swimming pool. Now, to put all this in place, we then have to have a team at the venues. And that's when we have our Games Time team on site. The Games Time team is a team that runs each venue for the broadcaster, and it is headed by the broadcast venue manager. And they come on site about 6 weeks before, and they refer to the camera and the layout plans and ensure that the venue spaces are set up accordingly. While that is going on, they then wait for the competition schedule and the DCAS, which is the daily competition activity schedule, to be confirmed. And the broadcast venue manager will then use that schedule to produce a running order for her crew on site. So that's like a second by second, minute by minute schedule for her crew as to what time they have to come in, what time they have to be at their cameras, everything that works at the venue. And we come to day 1 of live broadcast. Now, live broadcast day 1 doesn't always mean the opening ceremony. In Jakarta, the opening ceremony was on the 18th of August, 2018. But day 1 of live broadcast was on the 14th with volleyball, handball, and football. This is because sometimes these sports tend to go on for many days and cannot always be played as a long day's event. So we go on. The building blocks are the key factors. Now, 2 that I found worked and have worked in my other events as well is the first one, communication and coordination with all stakeholders. As mentioned earlier, not only the organizing committee, but the city council, the government, the telecoms. And this picture shows you the bike and truck cameras that were used to follow the athletes along the marathon route. Without permission from the city council, without being escorted by the police, we could not have get it done. And then, of course, competition rules and regulations, working alongside or with the international federations to make sure everything is worked out and the athletes are not compromised. The other 2 key factors, I believe, are the people and the places that we need. The people are key to making sure everything runs smoothly. And the places are the locations within the venue that is the locations that are exclusive for the host broadcaster, like this dive camera that is right across from the platform. The springboard, sorry. So more people in places. This will just show you, I've got some pictures here to show you the different types of cameras and the different positions that we need or the locations that we need to do our work. The Jib camera in basketball, the operator can move it up and down or left and right with the Jib arm with the camera at the end of the arm. Tower camera, he doesn't get to move very much. He's stuck there the whole day sometimes. And that's why we provided him with shelter because it's very hot in Jakarta. Commentary positions. Now, these are spots that tables that are set up with the equipment needed for commentators to talk about the sport as it goes on live. So when you're watching TV and you see a football match or a badminton match and you hear someone talking about it, who's scoring the goal, who's smashing, these are the people. So we give them specific positions, and it's indicated on the layout plan and built up to suit their needs. You also have the mix zone, which is where the media have exclusive access in that area, and they can get in line or they line up to get interviews with athletes as soon as the matches are over. Beauty cameras. So Jakarta City Venues View. This camera is placed on the rooftop of a hotel overlooking the main venues in Jakarta. And we have we had a few beauty cameras around the city, and we had some inside venues as well. This is a static camera. It doesn't move. It just takes the overall kind of a bird's eye view. Aquatic Steadicam. Steadicams are used in other sports as well. This one is just a good picture. The cameraman can run around or move around, but the camera remains steady. Railcam along the 100-meter track. So if you watch the 100-meter races, you'll see that there's a camera running along with the athletes and catching their move. Basketball camera. This one can be either a robotic or a fixed camera, and it gets every ball that goes into the basket. Okay, this was a special one, the dive camera in aquatics. It's been used in other events before, but it took a lot of coordination and planning. So the camera is at the top of that white pole, and the people operating it, the two guys you see in blue, very good people, they operate it and they release the camera as soon as the diver dives off the 10-meter platform, and the camera follows the diver all the way down. And when the divers hit the water, the camera is raised up again to the top of the pole for the next dive. So those were some of the cameras that are used, the locations that we have exclusive access to that nobody else does can go to, and that allows us to give you an overall view or production of your favorite sport. The overview, or for me, the takeaway from all this is that, and having been at some of the other events as well, there are no ideal situations, but all challenges can be overcome. And the way that I found it works is to have these regular discussions, have them friendly, make friendly discussions, but firm approach. So we don't go in there being bossy or demanding, but we make it clear what we want. And I think the main thing is to make the organizing committee understand why it is that we want these special requirements. And of course, once you hit games time, it helps to be quick thinking and to come up with practical solutions. So for me, it's worked. These have worked for me, and yeah, I hope they work in the future as well. And I hope you've learned something interesting. So thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Neo, back to you.
Thanks, Geetha. That was very interesting. I didn't know that there was so many different cameras all around the venue. It somehow always amazes me the number of equipment that you guys need. And if I remember correctly, also there were just cables everywhere in the venue.
Yeah.
So what happens actually if there is a power outage?
So we actually have backup generators that work in place whenever there's a power outage. They're placed in the broadcast compound, which is why we usually need a space outside the venue walls, and we place generators there. So those are hooked on and ready to go.
So the scenario that you have mentioned to us is live. I mean, when there is a live broadcast from the venue, right? What if there's no live broadcast? Do you still need the number of equipment?
No. Well, if there's no live broadcast, then we use what we call an ENG crew, which is a crew of 3 or 4 people. They go into the venue. They take a few shots of a match or a competition. They may not take the whole thing. They may or may not, depending on what the instructions are. And then they come back to the International Broadcast Center, which is a whole different topic, by the way. and they come back to the International Broadcast Center, and then the producer puts it on TV.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So then there won't be so many cables lying around and everything.
No, then you don't need 10 cameras or 15 cameras or so many cables or even a backup generator, really. Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's less risky, right?
Yeah, but it's less fun.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So Geetha, I mean, when you were presenting, I think you presented in the perspective of somebody from the broadcasting crew coming into the venue. But I believe you have been also kind of a venue broadcasting manager from the organizing committee side. So
Yes.
how was that being from that part and then dealing with them?
So then, for example, the most recent one I can remember, that role was with the KL 2017 Southeast Asian Games. A much smaller number of countries, but more than 30 something sports. I was working with the local organizing committee, the National Sports Council of Malaysia, as part of their broadcast department. And then the host broadcaster, then I work with the host broadcaster. So I'm on this side of the table, so to speak. I become the local organizing committee and I work with the host broadcaster. And I guess it helps because I understand what they need. So, having been on both sides, I know what both parties need. And sometimes it helps because then, it's easier to make them understand.
So in the case of Jakarta, did you have somebody in your role there or no?
We did have a head of broadcast department for INESCOG. They call themselves INESCOG. There was a head of broadcast. She had a whole department, and there were a lot of people who were very helpful. In fact, the broadcast department of INESCOG, they were the ones who helped us get a lot of the permits from the city councils, a lot of government-related letters that needed to go out for various issues. Yeah.
Right. So I have a question because nowadays you can actually use your handphone to record anything. Do you still, or why do you still need like 10 cameras to show us everything that is happening?
Well, I mean, let's just take the example of the dive camera. I mean, your handphone is great, and the technology or the quality of picture that you get on your handphones nowadays, it's really amazing. I won't get into the very technical details because I really don't have that kind of background. But if you just look at the pictures that are coming to you from the 10 or 12 cameras, there are various different angles. And you get a replay and you get a slow motion. And, it's just locations that we have exclusive access to that your handphone camera cannot go. Who knows, maybe sometime in the future, we will use smaller cameras that look like handphones, but I can't say.
I actually was just about to ask you
Yeah,
that. You read my mind.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Yeah.
Okay, we actually have a question from the audience.
Okay.
And she's actually interested to become your trainee.
If she wants me to train her, Akila.
Yes. I think she's watching you live from India.
Right. And what exactly would you like to be trained in? I'm not sure because right now, as you know, sports events are on hold. So many of us in this industry are waiting to hear back about what's going on. Even the Olympics has been postponed. A lot of events have been suspended, postponed, cancelled. So I'm not quite sure. But yeah, write to me, ask me questions if you want. I'll try and help you answer them. And we'll see how it goes.
Well, on that note, Geetha, let's maybe turn back time a little bit, 20 years ago, on actually how you started. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your background.
In 1998, Malaysia hosted the Commonwealth Games. Now, I was just a little girl then, right? So we won't tell them my age. But
never mind, you look very young, don't worry.
It hosted the Commonwealth Games in Kuala Lumpur. And it was so basic. But I was a volunteer. for a few months, I was a volunteer and I was quite free. I had finished school and I would go to the offices regularly to help out with menial tasks, photocopying, making phone calls. And one of the officials there, the head of the HR department, actually offered me a job. So I took it. But HR wasn't my thing. And in the course of working in HR, I met the venue manager, the general venue manager. And he offered to take me on. He spoke to my HR boss, and I moved to general venues. And I worked as kind of the assistant to the general venues manager. But we only had 16 venues. It was, when I look back, it was so easy compared to now when you have 30, 40 venues. So yeah, that was my start. And then I took a little break to do some writing with several different publications. But I just couldn't stay away from sports.
So I think to answer Akila's question, if somebody can join you to be trained, well, you can actually contact Geetha on LinkedIn. Is Geetha Lakshmayya, and you can send her some questions. But I think from Geetha's question, you can realize that actually she started out as a volunteer, as many of us actually in the sport industry. So Akila, if you get a chance to actually volunteer in an event back in your hometown in India, because I know India was supposed to host quite a lot of events, but because of COVID, unfortunately, it's right now stopped. But don't give up hope and continue to search for an opportunity. So let's get back to you, Geetha. Let's get back to you. I know that you are also very experienced in media operations. You are also basically a writer, and right now you are currently engaged with the Badminton World Federation, and I do believe you are writing a lot of articles for para badminton.
Yeah, so that started about a year ago when I came back from Jakarta to Kuala Lumpur. I started writing with BWF on para badminton. Para sports is something I've been doing since 2013, maybe, with the Asian Paralympic Committee and then on various different events. And so last year was actually very, very exciting. I went to some of the tournaments. I got to know some of the athletes, the coaches, and I keep in touch with them. And now that everything's shut down, my writing has involved, just keeping people in the know about what's going on, promoting para badminton athletes and the sport. So yeah, that's been pretty exciting.
So what actually is the difference between, well, media operations is for you to handle people that write more in the print media, and then you have the broadcast operations, which is more of TV and video. So what would you say is most interesting to you, and also which one is more challenging?
Okay, firstly, when you say media operations, it covers press and broadcast. And then broadcast is a huge part of it, but so is press operations. It's big. And usually you need a whole separate team to run it. It involves the photographers and the print media, or nowadays social media websites. And it's equally challenging. The only difference probably could be that that time is essential for broadcast. You've got a second by second schedule, and you have to be at your cameras. You have to get it going every shot you have to take. With the print media, they sometimes have time to watch the match, and then they can come into the mix zone later where they can interview the athletes and get a little bit more background or talk about their performance. So that's maybe a slight difference, but otherwise it's equally challenging, and there's a lot to consider. There's just as many people involved. So, they both give you sleepless nights, but they're both fun.
And what was it like the first time you managed broadcast in a games for you?
The first time was in Beijing, 2008 in Beijing at badminton and rhythmic gymnastics. It was let's just say it started out the first 2 days with an extreme test of my patience. But I have to admit, over these last few years, I've become a much, much more calm and patient person. I actually am able to deal things in such a calm manner that it surprises me even. Definitely surprises my family.
So you are saying that actually working in events, it has made you a more patient person?
Yeah, patient, calm, clear-minded. You have to think clearly before you decide, but you have to think quickly as well. You can't just jump at it. Uh, it's just made me more patient. Yeah.
I guess also because you have been working in so many different countries and you have had to deal with so many different cultures that first of all, if you don't have patience to understand, I think you will
Yes.
not be able to really communicate with them, right?
Yeah. So, firstly, if you're speaking about language, then almost everybody speaks English. I speak English. I speak Malay and a bit of Indonesian. So it only helps in this region. But even working in Rio or China, in other parts of the world, that's not a problem because I think the approach is important. Different people have different sensitivities, different attitudes, uh, different cultures. You're right about that, and it just shapes how the people are. And you need to take a bit of time when you go into their country to understand how it is that they're going to respond to you, and then
Right.
approach it accordingly. That's how I do it anyway.
Yeah. I think the events world has shaped a lot of us. And coming back to broadcasting, we have actually a question from Ursula, our speaker
Okay.
last week.
Hi, Ursula.
And how do you plan for the last minute changes to the
Uh,
competition? Do you have contingency plans?
okay. Well, right. So I think Ursula spoke about, sometimes you can't follow the competition schedule due to bad weather or whatever's that's happened that delays the match. Um, what we do when we take the live broadcast, at the end of every day, we also produce highlights. And whenever there's a slight delay or there's a break for whatever reason, we play these highlights. Now we can't play them the whole day. Of course, if it's a whole day of delay or something, then there are other plans in place. But if it's a few minutes or even a half an hour delay, then we can keep playing highlights or we can keep playing press conference highlights until we're ready to go live again.
Okay. And based on this broadcasting experience that you have, can you share with us one of your most memorable experiences?
Okay, yeah. So people have asked me this question so many times, and I always laugh. Um, it's because among us in Jakarta, we call it the case of the disappearing platform. It sounds like a children's mystery book. I know. In aquatics, we put up a tower platform, camera platform, to get. I think we were going up as far as the 10-meter platform dive, and it disappeared overnight. It just wasn't there when we got into the venue the next morning.
My God.
So there were many reasons, many excuses. I don't know what was real and what wasn't. But I have to admit, the team got in there and they put the platform up in less than 24 hours. So, these are some things that happen, missing platforms, doors falling off hinges, anything really. Yeah.
I mean, you had a missing platform. How fast do you get it back the next day?
Well, I mean, I didn't have to build it myself, but the team that we had on site, we put it. So we noticed it was missing at about, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning, and within maybe 12 hours, by 8 p.m., they were ready for the next day's diving competition. Yeah,
Okay.
and
All
I didn't
right.
disappear again. No, it was there.
Luckily, it didn't disappear again, or else.
Yeah, Well, we always have the dive cam. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, Geetha, I mean, it seems that we have some viewers today, and we have some young viewers like Akila today as well. Can you share with us what are the transferable skills that you find most relevant to managing this function at the games?
I think an attention to detail. It's something that's very necessary because of how detailed we need to be with the timelines, with the schedule. We have to coordinate with the schedule, and with how specific our locations need to be. So an attention to detail is something that's really needed. It's something you pick up as you do more work, but if you already have it, if you're that kind of person, it helps.
Okay.
Communication skills, it doesn't matter which language, it just matters that your approach matters. How you deal with them, how you make people understand what you need. And then, like I said, a sense of calm, patience. I don't know if that's a skill or it's just something that you develop as a characteristic over the years, but it's helped. Well, write to me. I'm sure I'll think about a few more.
So once again, viewers, if you want to reach to Geetha, you can find her on LinkedIn and you can post any questions. She actually just started her LinkedIn page, so just bombard her with all the questions you want.
it needs to be updated, so I will update it over the next few days. Yeah.
Yes. Geetha is a rare gem from Malaysia who doesn't like to shine. So now in Ignites, we are trying to help her shine, because I think her experience and the skills that she has are very valuable, especially to us Malaysians and also other parts of Asia, and also actually can be used by everybody in the whole world. So my last question to you, Geetha, before we wrap up this very interesting conversation that we have had, is what is the one improvement that you want to see in this area of broadcasting operations?
I love it, and not just for me, but I think when a team is on site, it'll be amazing if we could have more time. When organizers put things in place, when they engage broadcast teams to come and help them, to have more time would be amazing. Having 8 months, we got it done, but we got it done with a lot of sleepless nights, with a lot of running around, a lot of negotiations that could have been made easier if we had a bit more time. Apart from that, again, I can't speak about the technology and the technical aspects. It's moving up in the world. Things are changing, so maybe that will help. But in an operations point of view, for someone who's always running around venues and putting things in place, yeah, time will be great because it helps.
Yeah, who knows? Next time the camera is as small as our mobile phone, right? So then you don't see so many cables and you don't see so much equipment. Everybody is just going around with a mobile phone.
Yeah, then you'll have too many people walking around, and then that again takes a lot of management. So
then accreditation comes in, because then
access control and
exactly.
There you go. Security issues.
That's you go. So for our viewers who are watching us now and also maybe later during the recording, we will also have one session about accreditation and access control in the later part of the series. So stay tuned. But in general, thank you very much, Geetha. I've also learned a lot. I've learned so many different kinds of cameras that I didn't know existed. But it was very interesting and very insightful for me, and I'm sure to all our viewers today. So I hope that those of you who are listening in and those of you who will be watching this recording at a later time, that you got a snapshot of behind the scenes to broadcast from a venue, and also behind the scenes to my friend Geetha here and her wide experience in so many different events that she has done over this 20 years in the sports industry. So as I said before, sorry, yes, Geetha?
Sorry, carry on. Sorry, my bad.
So if you have any further questions, yes, please do not hesitate to contact Geetha. In LinkedIn, her name is Geetha Lakshmayya, not Geethanjali Lakshmayya. That's her full name, but she goes always by Geetha, so you can find her there on LinkedIn. Our next episode will be on Friday, July 24th. I'm just going to show you the time. It's 5 o'clock, where we have two beautiful ladies who will be coming on our show and answering the question of what is delegations, relations, and services. So for those of you who have gone to Olympics, Youth Olympics, Commonwealth Games, Universiad, you know that a delegation means the team, not delegating services, right, Geetha?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be great if, we could just delegate all our work to somebody else, but no, that's not what it means. Also, can I just quickly say that this presentation today, again, it's really, really basic information. And maybe one day we can do a little bit more, something that's a little bit more in-depth. And we'll see how that goes. But for now, it's simple, it's basic, and write to me if you need to know more information.
Yes, definitely. And Ignite is all about education. So we start slow with the surface, and then later on we will try to go dive into a little bit more further and detail into each of the topic that we are talking in today, because the Ignite network is just very rich with knowledge and experienced people that want to share the knowledge. So before I say good night and good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are, tomorrow, Ignite Showcases Stories About Event Professionals is back. And we have the story of one of our co-founders, the only man among the roses in the four Igniters co-founders. Mr. Gustavo Harada will be coming on at 12 o'clock Swiss time. So if you have time, do join us and find out about him. But other than that, have a great weekend. Thank you again, Geetha. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your experience. We need to bring you on more because other Malaysians need to know you too.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you so much.
All right, and see you guys all next week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night.